Welcome to the Real Academy, brought to you each Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by the
Systems Doctors,
Dr. Sheikah Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, best-selling authors, consultants, and speakers of Create and Educate LLC. Create and Educate LLC is an educational consultant and literary firm that provides professional development to schools and community. Their goal is to transform organizations with the REALL resilient framework used to increase their school report card grades 2 and 3 grade levels in 1 year. REALL stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. This framework is used to coach leaders and teachers and build student efficacy while putting systems in place that aligns the work of the school improvement, making the process manageable. When the work is manageable, teachers and leaders don't stress out or burn out.
the Systems Doctor.
Alignment systems are designed to help schools evolve and grow, all while instituting protocols and processes designed to promote collaboration and collegiality. The implementation of the alignment framework prevents some of the most common problems in education, where leaders sometimes aren't sure where to start, or in our new age of educating, leaders need a trusted sounding board that allows them to be vulnerable and transparent, preventing loneliness at the top. The framework doesn't just help leaders, but also prevents teachers from burning out from too many initiatives and embracing teachers as they are the experts. Finally, the framework extends to the children, helping them get engaged in school and solving a nationwide problem. Alignment systems are frequently referred to as a key element of success in the improvement process. In the sport of rowing, all rowers must put their oars in the water, succinctly creating a system for their boat to reach maximum speed. So schools that want to improve are bringing in
The Systems Doctors
to teach them all about the alignment systems that must be in place for school improvement to be accomplished at high levels. The dynamic duo provides insights into educational topics through their international platform, which includes educators, parents, and community members as a way to support important entities that make communities thrive. This is their way to pay it forward and provide the support they needed through their platform. Take a look. People who work with the
Systems Doctors
describe them as an excellent and inspiring group of leaders. They get into the weeds of work with leaders through their TrustMate Institute that you should contact them about today by filling out the contact form on their website.
It's Super Saturday, everyone. And if you were just on with Principal Sean Hurt, everybody should be on fire. Welcome to episode 220 of the Real Academy, brought to you by Create and Educate with your very own Resilience DoctHers. I'm Dr. Sheikah Houston.
And I am Dr. Tammy Taylor. Good morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. Thank you all so much for joining us. And yes, as Sheikah said, we are all on fire this morning.
Yes, he has set off Super Saturday with the blaze, and we all
Yes.
are on fire with a great start. So if this is your first time tuning in, you may be wondering, who are the Resilience Doctors and why should we listen to them?
Well, we are so glad that you asked. We are best-selling authors, children book authors, and speakers who transformed our schools with report card movement of 2 and 3 levels in just a single year. We're also award-winning leaders, an NWEA case study school, at Minim Showcase School, STEAM School of Excellence, the Palmetto Silver Award for Academic Growth recipient, Local Entrepreneurs Accelerator Program Award recipients, Avid MC selection, and most recently, Avid Global Achievement finalist for the elementary category.
Absolutely. And we are also senior staff developers for Create and Educate. And as co host of the Real Academy, we have impacted over 300,000 educators and about 7 million students through this free weekly live PD stream that you are a part of right now. So we appreciate you all tuning in. We specialize in helping schools improve through our real resilience framework that you see over our shoulders, and this is also a part of our children's book series, too. So all of the work is aligned. Tammy, you gonna tell them about the Saturday Fantastic
Yeah,
Four?
can you hear me? You can't hear me.
No, I can hear you.
Okay, yes. Each one of our episodes every Saturday is a part of what Shika has already mentioned, our Super Saturday. And that's a part of the live stream network that we have, the Fantastic Four. And it kicked off this morning at 10 a.m. with Principal Sean Hurt, who Shika said before was absolutely on fire. And I'm so super excited because what he was talking about perfectly aligns with what we're going to be sharing today. So thank you, Principal Hurd, for kicking us off with our Super Saturday lineup, because following him, of course, are yours truly, Shika and I, in the Real Academy, Create and Educate at 10:30. And then at 10:55, the Leaders Mentor follows, the GOAT of all things leadership, AP and New Principals Academy at 10:55 with Principal Kafele, who I'm sure also will bring nothing but heat today. But we round out on Sundays that Shika refers to as Sensational Sunday, and we end on a high note with the PGP podcast with Dr. Marty Moreno and Principal Josh Tovar each week. So please like, share, subscribe, send stars, make comments, do all of the things that the platforms expect to help us to build those algorithms. And we definitely say please and thank you in advance.
Absolutely. So if you are one of our regular Real Fam members, you know that it is Real Fam shout out time. So shout out to AP Patrick Lawrence from Connecticut, Miss Constance Sherrard out of Pearl, Mississippi, the one and only Dot McKeever Jeter, who keeps us all promoted, and we are so thankful for her. And she is
Yeah,
now Coach Dot McKeever Jeter, Principal Coach.
absolutely.
Principal Sean Hurd, who set us on fire this morning, Chancellor Rashard Davis, Stacy L. Joy, September Devon Spence Daniels, Dr. Melissa Jones Chunu, Professor Laws, our brother in education as well, Mr. David Bell out of Benton Harbor, Michigan. Queen Jacqueline Harriet is joining us all the way from Canada. We appreciate you. Dr. Joe Griffin out on the West Coast. Thank you for joining us. The boss educator, Dr. LaQuanta Nelson, is in the house. Thank you for joining us. Our other brother in the work, Principal Josh Tovar, is joining us as well. Marguerite Simpson Lackard is joining us. Thank you for joining us. My mom, Miss Beverly Hall. Everybody say hi, Mom.
Hey,
Thank
Miss
you.
Mary.
Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. You all could be doing lots of things, but you are intentional about being here with us on Saturdays, and we do not take that lightly. Our real comment from episode 219, where we talked about quiet quitting, comes from Queen Jacqueline Harriet, our sister from Canada that I just mentioned. She stated, quiet quitting means you have no trust mates. And if you all are familiar with Tammy and I's work, you know that we consider one another trust mates in education. And so when you have that person who can pull your coattail or your shirt tail to say, hey, what's going on? That person to check in with you and check on you. Sometimes quiet quitting won't be so easy to do. So if you missed that episode, please go back and catch the replay. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, so you can join on your platform of preference. So that brings us to episode 220, Unpacking Quiet Quitting in Education, Part 2, as you all requested. And a lot of what Principal Hurd talked about, I got to update that, Brandon. A lot of what Principal Hurd talked about this morning is exactly what we're going to be talking about. Now, last week, we talked about how principals and leaders, we unpacked how they quietly quit sometimes. Today, we're going to look at that quiet quitting for assistant principals and teachers. So, assistant principals, as Principal Kafele teaches us, and he was on fire, as Tammy stated last week in his solo session, is one of the most misunderstood and sometimes underutilized positions in education. And it's not underutilized because they're not working. They're underutilized in a lot of spaces because people don't really know the right work to give them. So sometimes, you may wonder, like, what would make an assistant principal quit? And it is just that, not really giving them the right work. They're doing the buses and the butts and all the discipline, and, it becomes too much and overwhelming, and they don't feel that appreciation. So they are there to support the vision of the principal. And in supporting that vision, in some instances, and this is not all cases, because some principals do a jam up job with their assistant principals, sometimes they get dumped on. And, they may be dumped on and, be being told, oh, yeah, I'm preparing you for the principalship. And so, that's what they get stuck with, their job and somebody else's job. But in supporting the vision of the principal, that should be a shared vision. You can still ensure that your AP is being prepared for the principalship by allowing them to attend meetings in your place. They can come back and disseminate that information to you and the staff. And so this may look like maybe them attending a meeting with you. And I know you're thinking, well, how both of us going to be out of the building at the same time? Get those district level leaders down to support you so that you can get these preparation tracks in place for the AP. And I can say that because that's where I am. And I try to support my building level people all the time. Allowing them to be in charge of an account or a program, because they got to get that finance knowledge in place. And then it's the same gradual release from the classroom. You show them, teach them, you all do things together, and then you let them do. So you have to ask the same question that we talked about last week, that we wanted district level leaders to ask principals. What is your vision for your role, and how can I support you? Because even though they're supporting your vision as the principal, they can still have a vision for their role.
Yes, and I think that they should have a vision for their role. And I also think it's important that the assistant principal really spends time thinking about how his or her vision aligns with the vision that the principal has for the school. Because if those visions are in conflict with one another, then you're not going to be able to move the school forward. And one of the things that I think works out especially perfect when you have an assistant principal who genuinely wants to be developed is that camaraderie that comes as a person who is there like a sponge and is wanting to learn as much as they can and absorb all that they know from you. But one of the things that I think is most important when you're thinking about the cultivation of APs is that you have to have somebody that wants to learn from you. And you cannot have any type of successful impartation if an AP has his or her own agenda. So you have to be willing sometimes to have very difficult, intense conversations to put you guys on the same page. Because in order to move forward, you have to be able to move forward together. And I'll be honest with you, I've experienced the gamut when it comes to APs, from absolutely incredible to not so much. So when I say I've experienced great partnerships that helps the school to thrive and grow, I've had that. But while a not so great partnership, I've also had that creates lots of chaos and confusion, and it sort of stifles the school's progress. So that's one of the things I think that we have to be mindful of. And another important thing to be mindful of, as an AP, is that your actions match your words. If you say you really, really want to learn, then you have to be willing to take on responsibility. You can't go ghost during the day and nobody knows where to find you. You are saying you want to learn, but nobody knows where you are. You have to be there and be a part of that partnership. You have to present yourself in a way to be present so that you can learn, and not trying to do that in a sketchy way. You have to be able to ask questions, look for ways to get involved, take initiative, and embrace being a part of a true partnership. And that partnership is what is going to be leading the school and moving everybody forward. So I've seen some AP and principal situations where the two rarely speak, and that's very, very unhealthy. But I've also seen where AP and principal fit like hand in glove, and the school runs very, very well, like a well-oiled machine. So just being mindful of what we're working with, and making sure you know how to cultivate what is your reality, so that you are able to help the AP to become the principal that they want to be according to that vision.
Absolutely, Tammy. And I hope y'all are appreciative of the dynamic duo, how we could give you two sides of the coin. I gave you one side of how that could look for an assistant principalship, and then Tammy gave you the other side of the coin. That's the beauty of a trust mate. So
Yeah.
now we're going to move on to quietly quitting. This is happening a lot in education. We start off with those leaders, assistant principals. Now we're going to look at what's happening with our teachers, and this is be a lot of add-ons to what Principal Hurt talked about. One of our good friends, Dr. Joni Dubose, who's in mental health, says that what she has witnessed in lots of spaces with educators is something called compassion fatigue. And what that looks like is our good friend Dr. Marcus Jackson tells us about schools of promise. And sometimes schools of promise can be taxing. It can be a lot of emotional drainage on a person when there's lots of needs from lots of people, there's lots of demands. And sometimes compassion fatigue can come into play. Some people call it desensitization. And so it is the job of the leader at that point to make sure that you're telling your students the same expectations that those high expectations you have for your teachers. I also used to tell my students that I have high expectations of how you treated my teachers. And I knew this was a thing when I would have children who would come to the office and, yes, ma'am, this, and but be in the class, you got sent up here for being disrespectful. So I know you know how to be respectful. So what's the problem? Oh, I got to respect you. You the principal. I said, oh, really? Because see, I want you to respect the people that the principal hired. So, respect is a two-way street. Children understand hierarchy. And if they do have a great respect for you as a principal, and I hope they do, and my students did, I would tell them what I expected from them. And sometimes you have to really drive that point home a lot. You got to fill the cups of the people who are working with your children. You got to shout them out. You got to tell them what a great job they're doing. We used to do the woot wagon. I used to do personal handwritten notes. And to be honest, those were my things that really went a long way, because people really want to be seen, and they want to be seen specifically for what they are doing. So, gifts, all the things, make sure the people's cups are really being filled, so they are not quietly quitting on you and experiencing that compassion fatigue.
Yes. And I feel like you, I definitely believe in gifting and showering teachers with appreciation, because that helps to fill those cups. And, you can pour more easily from something that is full rather than trying to scrape out the drips at the bottom of the pitcher. So you definitely want to invest in folks and shower them with support. But I think that one of the things you mentioned previously, Shika, is even more important, and that is making sure that teachers feel like they are supported.
Hmm.
Because if you do instill in your children, I've been in meetings before, and a student, like you say, is yes ma'am, yes I understand, Dr. Taylor, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. The teacher
Hmm.
says something, and then that they want to snap, like, oh, whoa, ho, who are you yelling at? I don't even yell at my teachers. What is happening here? And
Exactly.
it sends the message, okay, let me get myself together, because I set that tone, and that's an expectation. So I do believe that the easiest way for a teacher to check out is when they feel like they are not being supported. This
Hmm.
could be through discipline, instruction with parents. This could be from the district office, or any number of things. You have to be able to stand in the gap and let the teachers see that you're willing to take some of those bullets that are coming at them sometimes, so that they can do the business of school, which is to teach our children. So I think that what is important when we, as good leaders, are looking to see what is the best way to support our teachers, find out what they need. For example, if the teacher is not having any instructional issues, it goes back to what Principal Hurst said this morning. Why sit him in an irrelevant professional development? No, that's not necessary. That teacher might need support with just time, because you said that before. The gift of time is something that we can also provide to teachers, just making sure that we are in the position to support them and help them to realize that we're there to help them to actualize their potential. And when a teacher feels like they're stagnant or they are not supported, quietly quitting is what we see. And sometimes actual quitting is
Hmm.
what becomes the reality. So it gets really
Exactly.
tricky. As leaders, I think we have to be very, very attentive.
Exactly. You don't want to get those text messages over the break that they're not coming back, like Principal Hurt talked about. And for teachers, quiet quitting looks like they're complying and they're in agreement with you in the meeting. But when they get in the classroom behind the door, they close the door and say, I ain't doing none of that. And they do what they want to do. And so you have to make sure that you're in there, that you're hearing the voices of your teachers. And like Tammy said, that they feel supported. And we're at our time. So this brings us
Yes,
to a close. We have a few more points that we're going to bring up about teachers on next week and how to
yes,
make sure that they don't quietly quit on you. But we're going to do a part 3 to this, and we're going to talk about how to make sure our children are not quietly quitting as well, because they do
absolutely.
quietly quit on us too, and we call it compliance. So please make
Yes,
sure that you tune in with Principal Kafele next. Tune in to Josh and Dr. Marty Moreno on Sensational Sunday, and then right back here on Super Saturday for episode part 3 of Unpacking Quietly Quitting in Education.
Yes. And listen, before we go, I do want to do this shout out. I forgot when we were doing it earlier. I'm actually in Atlanta this morning recording. This week, I am down, yes, in the ATL. My family experienced a sudden death last week. And so I came down for the memorial, and I just wanted to shout out my entire Worthy family, but especially my Marietta Worthies. I want to thank them so much for everything. It's been an incredible time to be able to be with family, even, in this difficult, sad time.
Absolutely. Condolences to you and your family,
Thank
Tammy.
you.
You all have a great rest of your Saturday.
Yes. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.